Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, here in Miami, and welcome to Miami's Community Newspapers. I am your host, Andres Pena, and today we have two very special guests that we've brought here from Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, Mr. Hughes Jr. and Miss Erica Everson. We're going to go ahead and welcome. How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good to hear. I'm doing great as well. So, first question that I had when I walked in, and I'm sure that our audience has. Now that they've heard the name Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. Any affiliation to the boxer Floyd Mayweather?
It absolutely is. So Floyd Mayweather, you've all heard of him. This is, as he likes to say, the next step of his legacy, as he is no longer professionally fighting, but wants to continue his love of boxing and fitness, obviously, but start to bring it to everybody, his fans and whatnot. So we are a franchise. We are expanding across the nation. I think we're up to about 50 studios right now all over the country.
Wow. What cities would we find? I'm assuming, obviously, Miami. I'm assuming Chicago is another city that you guys might.
Yes. So we're the first in South Miami. So we're excited to be breaking that market. We previously opened up a studio in Chicago, but I know our home base is in LA. We've hit Atlanta. They actually just opened 3 in New York. So all the major places, Texas, there was one in Montana that actually recently opened as well. So very quickly to hit all 50 states, actually.
Sounds great. And my understanding is that this is a very recently created company that you guys started out in 2018, right?
Yes. So the company was created in 2018 in LA is where they're based out of. We actually started with the company in 2019 and we opened up Chicago in 2020, right before a little pandemic, if you guys all remember that. Yeah. So little break, but now it's kind of opening up as a company again, so you'll start to see them everywhere.
How did you guys handle that, by the way? I'm assuming that it was very difficult expanding. You guys sound like a company that's expanding very quickly. How was that during the pandemic?
It was rough, to say the least. I think like everybody, we're just kind of shocked that everything just shut down. I can say I was one of those people who was like, oh, this is probably going to last like 2 or 3 weeks. And then in Chicago, I can say we had some pretty stringent restrictions. So we were shut down for close to 3 months. But I think it was just really listening to the members. And when we came back, we obviously following all the protocols, just really said like, hey, you guys need this. We know you need this. Let's do it as safe as possible. I know our studios, not to brag or anything, was one of the best performing ones because we just, we opened it up to the members and said, what do you need right now? And brought them all back. And now that we've kind of gotten it all over our system, I think kind of the match has been lit with this company that it's going to sort of blow up and you'll see them everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds great. And of course, Floyd Mayweather is a very, very well-known household name in the world of boxing. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to know, what his training regimen was like. You want to follow in his footsteps. And now my understanding is that you are a studio manager and you're a head coach. You guys started with the company in 2019, right?
Yes.
How did that work out? What made you guys get into boxing and fitness?
Well, I'll start with myself. I was working in fitness for a while. And then actually we knew the owner of the Chicago studios and she was telling me about this new concept that they were opening up. And I was intrigued. As a woman, I had done a little bit of boxing before just for the fitness aspect. I really love it. And one thing I hear a lot from my members who are similar to me is not that we're ever going to fight, not that we ever, feel anything like that, but it gives us confidence. So that's something I really strive for. And when I saw this company, I thought I would love to be able to help kind of bring that passion to it. Obviously, having a spokesperson like Floyd Mayweather doesn't hurt. And just kind of the exciting part of being on the ground floor, being able to see this company build from the beginning, being able to help with that process for, corporate to actually know who we are and listen to our feedback. So that was kind of my, what really allured me to start with this company.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, I've been in the sport of boxing for almost 15 years now. And the whole reason why I got into it in the first place is to manage my own mental health. And I noticed very quickly between going to therapy and going to the boxing gym and learning boxing, I was learning the same things, same concepts, managing my emotions, and etc. And what made me so passionate about it was to help other people go through the same process. And Mayweather gave me a bigger platform to do that. So that's what brought me to it.
Gotcha. And my understanding is also that you also have a personal gym, that you do this, but you also have your own training regimen that you had mentioned that focuses on mental health. What does mental health play as a role when you're learning, when you're getting fit, body and mind? How does that unite for you?
Well, it comes down to the sports psychology of boxing. So I have my own brand. It's called Healing Mitts Boxing. And it's all about helping people get better through the sport of boxing. And it just comes down to simple things: managing your state, managing performance anxiety, dealing with stress, having appropriate responses to certain situations. The same things you would learn in boxing can actually be applied to your everyday life. So that's the deal.
So let's say I wanted to get started out. I'm walking into a gym and I'm interested in learning how to box. I'm interested in getting fit. How does that work out? I walk into a Floyd Mayweather gym and I want to sign up. Where do I go?
Yeah. So when you walk in, we are going to, obviously we're going to greet you and be excited that you are there and giving us a shot. But the first thing we're going to do is sit you down and ask you what inspired you to come in. What are your goals? What do you feel like you need as far as your fitness routine in your life? And how can we sort of fit into that? And then what we're going to do is turn you over to the coach, who is going to walk you through our class, as well as get kind of your boxing background to see, where your experience level, how we're going to really fit that class into that as well. Make sure it gives you a good overview of everything you're getting yourself into for the next 45 minutes. They're going to take you through class. At the end, when you love it and you absolutely want to sign up, I will be right there.
That sounds great. And so walk me a little bit through the kind of the onboarding process. You're just starting out. How do you guys work around people's different body types, weight, height? How do you guys work around that? I know you're the coach, so you're the one that probably has to deal with this the most. How do you parcel that out?
Communication. Like, why did you come in first? What's going on? What are you looking to accomplish? What is your desired outcome? That way we can get an understanding of what motivates you. We can use that to help you train. We also figure out what your limitations are, right? So say you got a bad ankle or a bad knee or a bad back. There are options for everybody to enjoy this workout. The only thing that we need to do first is to communicate. We just got to communicate with you to figure out where you are and how we can help create a program and regimen that works for your body type, size, and all those other things, dimensions.
Well, for those of you at home, if you're on the fence, that's a pretty nice words there from Cleveland Hughes Jr. A lot of confidence. We were talking earlier, and he told me that fundamentally what was most important to him was when you walk into the gym, you got to meet him halfway. You got to believe in the process, believe in the training that goes through with it. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I mean, if in fact you have some sort of apprehension in your mind, you have something in there that you walked in with, I can only meet you halfway. You have to give me the opportunity to show you that you can do it. You have to physically be willing to put yourself out there and go through it, go through the process, not by yourself, with my help, with our help, with our team's help.
Gotcha. And that's a certain substrata of people, but my understanding is that most likely about 90% of the people walking into the gym are gung-ho. They're ready to get started. They're going to compete. They want to box already. They're ready to go. What do you tell those people?
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, let's just slow things down a bit, because your desired outcome, right? That's the thing that brought you in. However, there's a process that you have to go through in order to get to that level. And there's no reason to rush it. There's a steep learning curve when it comes to this boxing thing. And you can very easily get hurt if you try to go too fast. But fundamentally, everyone practices the same things over and over and over again. You just have to be patient. You have to commit yourself to going through the process.
Okay. And so what's the split up more or less between boxing and fitness? What's the ratio there? Like, how much is it boxing? How much is fitness when you walk in, take these classes?
Okay, I'll answer.
You probably answer better than I.
So, I mean, to separate the two is it's kind of how do I say, it's kind of counterintuitive, because obviously boxing is fitness, but it's about 70 to 80% boxing, hitting the bag and, you know, working mitts and all those other things. It's about 70 to 80% boxing, and about 20 to 30% fitness stations, rowing machines, treadmills, dumbbells, medicine balls, the whole 9 yards, body weight exercises. We got it all.
So your role as a head coach is pretty wide ranging. You got to deal with just about everybody that walks in and handles your class, but you are a studio manager.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one running the show. So you're the one that's training the staff, training the salespeople and stuff. What's it like working in that position at a Mayweather gym?
I mean, it's great. I mean, from the company up, like I said, it's still a growing company. So it is kind of nice. Like, I have met the CEO. So how many people get to say that? So it is kind of refreshing in that. And then for me personally, like within a studio level, like I like to tell every single person on my staff, I'm not successful in my job unless you are. So I am there to make sure that you guys not only feel comfortable, but love what you do, are having fun. Yes, those are two of the requirements to work for me. And then on top of that, you know, obviously we understand what we're doing. You know, it's something I've learned throughout the fitness industry is that it's very easy for a manager to just make a schedule, follow the rules, try to hit the numbers. Whereas I would rather see other people grow into positions, as well as be that gym that people just want to be at, regardless of what your workout is. We want people to feel comfortable. We want them to know that we're there to listen to them, whatever their goals may be. And just, you know, even if you're having a stressful day or not, we want you to want to come to work out to us.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that you recently broke into the market in South Florida. How's that been?
Yeah. So for us, we were the first one in kind of like the Miami area. So Pinecrest in the Sunnyland Plaza is going to be our first. We will be doing Doral shortly after, probably end of this year or early next year. And then plans to expand throughout the Miami market, which is exciting because we know that Floyd has a little Miami in his heart as well.
Yeah. So run me through Floyd Mayweather. I understand that he has a personal gym in LA. Is that gym connected at all to this brand?
No. So he had Vegas. He has his
Right.
training gym. I don't remember the official name
It's
of
the
it.
Mayweather Boxing Fitness.
Just
Boxing Club.
so everyone understands, we are not his training gym. So we are no contact. We don't spar. No one is going to come and hit you when you're at our gym at all. So we're not affiliated with that, just so everyone knows.
Gotcha. And let's say this would be a question for you, Cleveland. Let's say somebody walks in, they are serious about competing in the sport. Is this an entryway for people that want to get into boxing and that want to compete in the serious level?
Yes, because like we talked about before, this is where you build the foundations. This is where you get in shape, because boxing competition is extremely taxing. And step one, get in shape. I can tell you like this, that when I first started boxing, the first thing that we did, I was running for 3 months. And wasn't hitting anything, wasn't shadow boxing, just running. So yes, this is a great entry point for people that want to get into competition. We do training for competition, but more so on the personal training side.
Gotcha. And you also mentioned that you had done a little competing yourself.
Yeah.
Run me through the process of getting to become a professional boxer. Like, how do you start out? I'm assuming you mentioned that you had competed in the amateur leagues.
Yeah.
How does that work for the audience at home that, you know, just pick their mind?
So amateur boxing, It's a lot. And so much so that the amateur boxing is set up in two different divisions. We have novice and we have open. As a novice, you compete for 2-minute rounds with 1-minute rest. So it's a lot. It's a lot of training, a lot of running, a lot of sparring. I usually tell people you want to get at least a good 100 rounds of sparring in before first competition. So it's a lot of learning to manage your emotions in that ring, what it feels like to get hit. It's extremely dynamic sport. And if you Google it, what's the hardest sport in the world? Boxing. Boxing comes up. So if you want to compete in the hardest sport, it takes a lot of time. I would say 4 to 5 days a week, a couple hours, like 10 hours a week of training is what you would need to start to get into amateurs. And then to make it through the novice division, usually you have 10 fights, and then you go to the open side. Then you fight 3-minute rounds. Wow. Then you do that. Some people do 5 or 6. Some people do 50 more fights. And then they start talking about professionals, which is a minimum of 4 rounds of boxing. No headgear.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds, I mean, to me, what it sounds like is that this is, obviously it's very physically demanding, but I don't think people quite understand how mentally demanding that is, that how the mental fortitude that's required in order to get into a sport like this. Back in high school, I used to row competitively. And rowing is another sport that is pretty difficult because it demands your body to basically work at a maximum for an extended period of time. And so it's similar in the sense that you can find this in all sports really, but in the particularly taxing ones, boxing, swimming, rowing, all these sports, running is another one that really push your body to the absolute limit. In order to have the fortitude to get to that peak, you really need to be there in your head, because if your mind believes that it can do it, then it forces the body to adapt. Mm-hmm. That's at least my thinking of it.
Yeah.
And this plays a huge role into boxing as well, I take it, right?
Yeah. Imagine running and playing chess at the same time, or rowing and playing chess at the same time. You really have to be physically in shape, but then you also you have to be able to focus on what it is that's going on, because it's dangerous. You know, a lot of the times people step in that ring and they don't step out the same. So the amount of focus, it's mentally taxing and physically at the same time. So you really have, like you said, you have to develop that fortitude, and it takes time.
Right. And I know, Erica, that you had mentioned that for the women that come to the gym, confidence is a big factor. And that's, again, it's another component about something that's in the mind, something that helps people build themselves up, that fortify themselves. Is it also a component of like learning self-defense? Is that something that you guys offer at the gym?
We don't officially offer a self-defense class. It's more, I really came up with this concept when I was in Chicago, because we're very public transportation heavy. And a lot of people would say, oh, I don't like to ride the train after this certain point or anything like that. And that's where it really kind of inspired me, that like, I want to build confidence. Again, I don't want anyone to ever have to be in that situation or feel like they need to ever do it. But I think you carry yourself a little bit different when you have a little bit of that background. You feel stronger, you feel more self-reliant, more assuring yourself, just kind of like that overall confidence. Not even for women, even in this area in South Florida, we've kind of found a lot of parents had come in and said for their kids, from little all the way up to teenagers, also, they want to make sure their kids feel safe. They want their kids to feel more confident as well. Our memberships do start age 13 and up, so we are open to that age group. So that's definitely something we're looking forward, especially down the line, to kind of have not only to bring them in just for our regular classes, classes, but be able to do sort of some special boot camp style classes where we do focus a little bit more on the self-defense, or we can focus a little bit more on the mental health and the breathing aspect. And then, obviously kids programs as well, something kind of dear to our heart. All of this are goals that we do have in the future, hopefully to bring soon.
Right. So a little small word from each of you to the audience. Let's say someone in the audience that's watching this right now is a little on the fence. They've been thinking about getting into boxing maybe and joining a gym, but they're a little on the fence about it. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. What would you say to them? And you can look into that camera right over there and address it.
Who wants to go first?
You go ahead, do first.
I would say if anyone's on the self-defense, I'll just put it out there. I am almost 40. I have an 8-month-old. I am a 5-foot tall woman. If I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing holding you back. And in our studio, we have ages. We have 13 all the way up to age 70. Every single fitness type, body type, age, everything. Do not feel intimidated. Just come give it a try.
Alrighty.
All right. Right there?
Yeah, right there.
All right. So this is what I will say. I've heard that for a very long time. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I've heard people say they're apprehensive, they're afraid. And I've seen people come through the process. And the only thing that they ever regretted is that they didn't start sooner.
Well put. And let's say people want to find you, if they want to go online or if they want to go to social media, how might they find you guys?
So we are all over our social media, Instagram. It's actually us personally who answers if you do DM on Instagram. So feel free to shoot us a message. Instagram, Facebook, we're on TikTok now. You can also go to our website or Google, find our phone number, email, everything like that. We are very responsive because we're just excited to hear from everyone.
That's great. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. This is Miami. Miami's community newspapers here with Mayweather Boxing and Fitness Gym. They've got a lot of great stuff going on. They just recently expanded into the South Florida market. Be sure to check them out. And be sure to check out our other shows at Miami's community newspaper on our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter, our LinkedIn even. We have a lot of shows that we're expanding on. We do covering a lot of different events, from things that are happening in local businesses in Miami to even international events such as the war in Ukraine. Be sure to keep up with us, and we'll see you later this afternoon or sometime next week. Have a nice day.